This airplane belongs to what organization?
It belongs to the Commemorative Air Force. The Commemorative Air Force is the largest flying museum in the United States. They have 176 airplanes and 73 units across the United States. So our goal is to maintain this airplane, and so we're part of the Devil Dog Squadron, and our sole purpose is to keep this airplane flying. In the last 10 years, we've put over $350,000 in this airplane with engines and wing spar, and tail's been off twice for corrosion. So we've been doing, and we've got it painted for the first time in a long time. So we're real excited with the shape that she's in, and we're here to keep the marine history alive. So the marine history on this airplane, it's part of the B&B 612 group, the number 3 ship. And they used to go out in the Pacific at night with radar to try to find the ships to keep the supplies from the Japanese. And the number 3 ship, in her 22 missions, down 3 merchant ships and 1 imperial ship, went out on her 23rd mission never to return home. So the gentleman that restored this airplane, Ozzie Parrish, was a survivor of the B&B 612 group and wanted to honor his friends. And they didn't get to have nose art. So he put the mascot of the Marines on the nose art for this airplane in honor of the Marines and to keep this marine history alive. The B-25 saw all the regimes of war, and the Navy was given 706 B-25s, and they didn't know what to do with them, so the Marines took them. And they learned to adapt. You can't drop bombs on a moving target from 6,000 feet. So they learned to skip bomb. They'd come 10 to 15, 20 feet over the water right at the ship, pull up last minute and skip the bombs into the ship. The Marines were being shot at a lot in the airplanes, so they only had 1 gun up front. So what they ended up doing, the crew chief started adding more guns, and the engineers from North America found out about it and said, hey, we're going to design you a gunner nose, or this airplane would have had a radar nose, so it had 4 guns up front with the radar to find the ships at night with the radar. And we don't have a turret on this airplane because they used that position to put a stargazer so they could navigate by the stars at night. And they were going to islands smaller than this airport property. So whether the number 3 ship got shot down or got lost, or who knows what happened to her. I'm operations officer, but I'm also one of the pilots. And I'm the instructor pilot, so I help get the pilots. How did I become a B-25 pilot? Well, I had a flight school I had just started, and I wanted a little open house, and a friend of mine said, let's put on an air show. So I said, okay. And in one of those air shows, the B-25 came and gave me a ride.
Yeah.
So I kind of got hooked. I was part of that group from 86 to 1986 to about 96, and then got involved with this group. And I've been flying. I got typed in. I got my co-pilot status in 97, and then type rated in 2007. So I have 10 years as a co-pilot, and now 11 years as a PIC pilot.
What inspired you to become the part of the?
My dad took me up flying on my 24th birthday. Mm-hmm. He was a pilot, and he used it for traveling, and bought an airplane and gave me a ride on it, and that's all I've been doing since then is flying.
So he's an Air Force pilot.
He had trained in World War II and got as far as 2 weeks out the war ended. So, but they trained him as a pilot, and he was supposed to be shipped out to fly in Europe. But the war ended. So, I think he took me for a ride when I was like 5 years old. I don't remember much. But I got very inspired with the flying part.
So you decided to fly and get your onto the CFI,
Got all my ratings, and then kind of fell into the place of owning a flight school. And I've been teaching students since 1983.
But are there anyone tells that you are a girl, so you have to do something like that? So may you frustrated when you are become a pilot?
No, I mean, for a long time out there weren't many female voices out there when I was instructing, but we're getting more and more females flying.
So how would you inspire?
Girl power.
Yeah, how you inspire other girl to want to become
I inspire
pilot?
lots. When we're touring with the air show, I do a lot of talking to the girls. Do you want to be a pilot? You know, at an air show. No, I go, why not? You can be anything you want to be. I get to fly this. And so I try to inspire them that, and even if they don't want to be a pilot, they could be anything they want to be if they work hard at it. And even the boys too. You know, you've got something, you put your mind to it, you'll figure a way to get it if you want it bad enough. Well, I think there's opportunities for a lot of people in the United States to fly. We have more freedoms than most of the other countries do with flying, and the cost is more reasonable. So if somebody really wants to learn to fly, coming to the States to do that can save a little bit, but I think there's plenty of opportunities for women out there. There's plenty of opportunities anyway because we're shorthanded pilots, and so a lot of opportunities for people out there.
So have you ever want to become an airliner pilot?
At one time I thought about it, but I thought I could do both, but this is a full-time job, owning a business and flight instructing as much as I do. So it's more than a full-time job. So I just couldn't fit an airline job in. And I kind of like the thought of being home in my own bed at night.
What's your most unmemorable thing when you're flying?
With the B-25, we did the flyover for the VE Day for the Capitol. So that was pretty nice. And the events we've done for the dual aerorators are pretty spectacular too. And there's one left, Dick Cole, he's 102 years old. So, yeah, he's my inspiration.